Aside from the whole living underwater thing, does Aqualad have anything to do with the Little Mermaid? No. Will that stop me from capitalizing on search engine optimization for the new Little Mermaid movie? Also no. With that out of the way, on with the show. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. Today we're going under the sea to see the all-new Page Puncher's Aqualad. Starting off with the packaging, and it's the Page Puncher's box. It's black and white and red all over. Name and logo down here. A reminder that McFarlane released this under DC Direct in one corner, and in the other a promise of an exclusive comic book. On the side we see some names and logos. I would say that if they made the subtitle red it would really pop. You know, like how they make the subtitle blue in DC Multiverse. But since they're switching to clamshells anyway, it really doesn't matter. Speaking of clams, on the back we see Aqualad rising out of the ocean and a picture of the figure. Don't let this cover fool you though, it might be Aqualad specific, but as always there's only one comic for the entire wave. But speaking of waves, it is a pretty nice cover. Huh. Maybe he is the Little Mermaid. If you want to find Aqualad using apps like BrickSeek, here's his UPC code. And for packaging, I'm giving him 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, an Aqualad stands at 6 3/4 inches. From the top, and I love this face sculpt. The painted detail, especially in the eyes, is very vibrant, and I love the frosting that they added to the hair. Naturally, he has that classic Atlantean scale mail, though I'll be honest, the black and orange color scheme and stripes on the sides do remind me of Wolverine from X-Men Evolution. Looking at his arms, the tattoos are bright and vibrant. Tiniest little splotch on here, but I'm pretty sure I can scrape that off. This version of Aqualad is named Calderam, and he's actually the son of Black Manta. These tattoos are magical and the source of his powers. Wait a minute, so he's a normal human using magic to live under the sea. See? He is an Ariel. He's your daughter Melody. With all the added drama of aligning with Aquaman's arch nemesis, I've always preferred this version of the character. Just like the scale mail, there's some nice detail on the belt, and I'm impressed by how overall clean and simple the rest of the design is. Similar to Aquaman, he has some fins on the backs of his calves, and just a little orange trim punched into the soles of his feet. Flipping him around and sheesh! I don't know who McFarlane's sculptor is, but they really like butts. Talk about cake by the ocean. I'll see myself out. That said, while we're here, I do want to highlight this backpack. To anyone who's wondering, these straps are sculpted into the body and are not removable. I do like the bright blue that's been punched in. Gives it a nice little glow. There's also an extra feature to this that we're going to talk about during playability. Near as I can tell, this is a 100% new sculpt, and McFarlane's done a really good job. I'm particularly impressed with the face and hair. If I had one minor quibble, it would be the separation between his sleeve and his arm. But again, it's a minor quibble. For presentation, I'm giving Aqualad 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, and nothing really out of the ordinary here. From the top, and Calder's head's in a dumbbell joint. Take a look up this far, which is fantastic for a swimming character. This far down, really great tilt, and all the way around. Moving on down, he has a swivel hinge shoulder that raises up this high. A little bit of floating with the rotator cuff, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and McFarlane wrist balls. They hinge up this high, and down that low, and of course, side to side. Moving to the middle, and he has a diaphragm joint and a dumbbell waist, and in combination with his neck articulation, here's a kind of swimming pose you can get him into. As usual, unfortunately, he doesn't get much in the way of hunching forward, but he does get a great amount of tilt and twist. Below the Atlantean belt, an Aqualad has McFarlane style hips. Don't try too hard to make him kick though. That said, he can kick this high and split pretty wide. Some twist in the hip, but not as much as I'd like. Great double jointed knees though. Obviously the fin gets in the way. And moving all the way down, he has toe articulation and McFarlane ankles that can swivel, hinge, and pivot. The articulation on this figure is fine. Nothing special, but consistent with what I've come to expect from McFarlane. For posability, I'm giving Aqualad 1 whole point. Moving on to playability, an Aqualad comes with a trading card and a figure stand. Pause here if you want to learn more about him. One thing you'll notice is that despite being a page puncher, he has a picture of his very own. That's because he has a comic of his very own. Kind of. It's still the same comic that comes with all 4 figures in the wave. It's just that now McFarlane's giving each one their own cover. This is at least a step in the right direction, but I think I've been pretty clear that I won't be happy till each character has a comic of their own. That said, he does have a couple of other accessories of his very own, meaning it's time to talk about this backpack. The backpack itself doesn't do anything, but you see these handles? They're removable. That's because they're actually hilts for hydrokinetic daggers. This is so cleverly done. Tiny splotch of red paint on this one. Clearly there's blood in the water. Basically, these are removable for when you're posing him with these. Still, some alternate hands when he isn't using them would have been appreciated. But playability is more than just accessories, even really cool ones. It's also about how well your figure plays with others. For my only other Aqualad, and here we have Brightest Day by DC Direct, I honestly never thought Todd would give us one. As for Aquaman, here we have the ever-popular Endless Winter, DC Essentials, and Snyder Cut. For some other Aquaman characters though, and here's the DC Direct Brightest Day Mira, the DC Essentials version of his father Black Manta, and the DC Multiverse version of Ocean Master. Moving into some Young Justice territory though, and here's a couple of different versions of Tim Drake Robin. The small one is Mattel, and the tall one is from the DC Multiverse Gotham Knights wave. Here's a couple of versions of Nightwing. The one on the right's all the way back to the Build-A-Batmobile wave, and the one on the left is from the New Titans wave. Conversely, here we have the Build-A-Batmobile Barbara, and Batgirl from the Three Jokers. That said, for a couple of speedsters, and here we have Kid Flash, and Impulse, who's way too tall and shares the same body as Kid Flash. For my only Wonder Girl, and here's this one by Mattel, and then here's Donna Troy from the new DC Multiverse Titans wave. Here's Arsenal from the new Titans wave, and Con-El Superboy. Hopefully Mon-El isn't too far away. Also, I know I'm behind on these, but I promise I will get to them. As we await the more modern version, here we have Blue Beetle, here's Martian Manhunter, who definitely needs to be a lot taller, and Batman, who needs to be a bit shorter. For an under-the-sea adversary, and here's Aqualad with King Shark, but for an under-the-sea singer, here he is with Sebastian the Crab. For a relative scale comparison, here's Aqualad with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man, and as always, here he is with Stealth Iron Man. So let me see if I get this straight. If I give you my voice, you'll give me legs? I love the Hydro Blades, I love the backpack hilt gimmick, and I love how he fits in with my Aquaman family. And that's to say nothing of our growing Young Justice display. For playability, I'm giving Aqualad 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. Being a page puncher, Aqualad's going to set you back $24.99. With the current price of DC Multiverse figures creeping up to $23, $25 for a comic doesn't really seem that bad, but it's really only a matter of time before that goes up too. Still, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, $5 for a comic you get with 3 other figures really isn't a value. Regardless of the cost, this figure's a treasure, and I highly recommend grabbing him before he's lost at sea. Even so, for price, I'm giving Aqualad half a point for a grand total of 4.5 out of 5. What Aquaman characters would you like to see McFarlane make next? Sound off in the comments below. Personally, I'd like to see a really good Mira or Dolphin. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.